Howdy howdy, this is Gratitude Grinding, back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover my thoughts for round 1 predictions for the Warlock and Sabretooth arenas. So the first thing I always like to do is compare these arenas or bucket these arenas compared to past arenas, as that allows me then to jump to those past arena results to kind of get an idea of what might to expect this time around. And with feature arenas, really there's two types. There's new and old, and Warlock squarely fits in new. It's first time available in the game to play, first time to get them out of the arenas, first time to get them out of the features, crystals, etc. You get the point. And then with Sabretooth in the 4-star basic arena, really there's 3 types: high, medium, and low. And I think Sabretooth squarely fits in that low arena interest, just because, again, I don't think that's reflective of him in the game today. I still think Sabretooth is a decent champ, but he's just been in the game for a while now, been available in the arenas multiple times, and people have been able to get him through base crystals, etc. So that's really more indicative of his availability in the game, and not so much of his gameplay, which Sabretooth, my opinion, especially with some synergies when you look at like Omega Red, etc., he's definitely a decent champ to have, but just a lot of people have him already, so there's just not going to be a ton of interest to grind too hard for him in the 4-star basic arena. So now that I have these different arenas categorized, let's take a look at some of the past arena results to get an idea of what might happen this time. Starting first with the 4-star basic arena. So you can see here, it's kind of, there's a standard like between 1.5 to 1.7, but 1.7 is kind of the oddity here of late. That did occur most recently with Mephisto, but for the most part it's closer between 1.55 to 1.65. From time to time you might get that 1.7, and I think if that can happen, Sabretooth might push to that number, but definitely on the higher end of that 1.55 to 1.65 range. And then with the 3-star feature champs or arenas, really there's kind of a number between 1.3 to 1.4 million. That's very typical range that we're seeing. With the 4-star feature arena, that's where you're starting to get a little bit of variance between each of the arenas, anywhere from 11 million to 12 million. Plus, it could go slightly above or slightly below those numbers, as you have good examples here with Stealth Suit Spidey, who went to 12.1 million, and Mysterio, who just went under 11 million to 10.7 million. But for the most part, there's that kind of standard range of 11 to 12 million. And it just kind of varies based off of the different hype level, and it's not necessarily even driven off of hype. Just there's just some variance between each round of a new champ. And then with the 5-star feature arena, there's even more variance for new champs, where you have, as you can see here at the lower end, with Invisible Woman, who's definitely a decent champ, but came in at 32 million, who was 10 million under Ebony Maw, who at this point is not the best champ out there. It's definitely, in my opinion, not better than Invisible Woman. There's just some variance in there, and sometimes it can't be explained. But then you can also see on the other side, you got 48.5 and 53 million more recently for Stealth Suit Spidey and Mysterio. And the hype level for those champs, I wouldn't say was at an all-time high, because these aren't game-breaking champs. But they were decent champs. Everybody saw them to be decent champs to have, thanks to the content creators program that got some early videos out. So people saw some, and there was some hype, some interest out there for them, but it wasn't like game-breaking Namor, Call Obsidian kind of level. And in my opinion, based off of my read, it looks like Warlock kind of falls into that area there. He's definitely a decent champ. Animations are neat. It's fun. He looks like a fun champ to play. But he's not game breaking. His power's not, his attack power isn't that great. So, but he does have some utility. So I think it's, overall he's going to fit kind of in that Mysterio, Still Suit Spidey kind of range. So anyway, now that I've taken a look at these past results, here are my opinions anyway for round 1 cutoff predictions for the new Warlock and Sabretooth arena. Starting first with the 5-star feature. Again, I think we're looking at that Mysterio, Stealth Suit Spidey number, but maybe a tick higher, something like 56 million for the cutoff. With the 4-star feature, I think he's going to be squarely in that middle range, around 11.5 million. I think with Sabretooth, again, like I said earlier, I think out of that 1.55 to 1.65 range, he's going to be on the higher end, just because of where he stands in the game today. He may tick up to Mephisto, but that Mephisto number we more recently saw, but I think 1.65 is probably going to be around that target. We'll see. And then 1.3 million for the 3-star feature Warlock. And again, now for these numbers, these predictions, I try to get within 5 to 10%. So I always like to provide a grind target to give yourself that extra buffer, just in case some unexpected spikes in the cutoffs occur here. So I think 58 million, maybe even 60 million for the 5-star feature Warlock is where you want to go. 12.2, just getting over that 12 million range will put you kind of into the safety zone. 1.9 million, again, just to give yourself a little buffer over from that Mephisto number we saw there, just to give yourself, a little security blanket, if you will, if you really want to not miss out on Sabretooth. And then I think 1.4, maybe 1.45 with a 3-star feature Warlock. So both these grind targets and predictions are for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for over 60 days. For the earlier brackets, it's even a little bit crazier because there's just a lot of variance in the number of people even competing in these arenas as people move every 30 days across these different arena brackets and then eventually get to veterans fairly quickly, in my opinion. 60 days. I think that's a little soon to consider yourself a veteran in the game. But, it just behooves Kabam to get you into veterans bracket sooner than later, so you have to grind your mind crazy, grind your fingers to death, and buy arena chips if you want to go after, or should I say, buy units to continuously grind to get some of those crazy numbers I was sharing before. But anyway, that's a whole other topic when it comes to. But my point being on these results is just there's not a ton of historical data to base this off of, and there's a lot of variance just because a lot of people move across of them. But based off of some anecdotal information that I received from folks across the community who put it in my videos, line, etc., and I appreciate the folks who do take the time to do that, as that does help me kind of get a sense of what's going on with these numbers currently. So based off of that, these are definitely more guesstimates, so just kind of keep in mind these are rough numbers. And the good news, as I always say with these, is they're always all underneath the last milestone reward for the arenas that we're talking about here. So with a progressing account, a newer account, you're going to want to try to get as many of those milestone rewards as you can, as they're going to give you things that you need in the game to progress your roster. So it never hurts to continue to drive over these numbers, so you're always going to get those milestone rewards. But with the beginner's bracket 3-star feature, I think we're looking at 245,000. 4-star basic, around 900,000. 4-star feature, 1.4 million. With the intermediate bracket 3-star feature, we're looking at 500,000. For 4-star basic, 1 million. And lastly, for the 4-star feature, 1.5 million. And if you're not sure for the beginners and intermediate bracket which one you belong in, beginner's bracket is 1 to 30 days. Intermediate bracket is 31 to 60 days, and that's from the time your account was open, not how long you've been playing the game. And if you can't recall exactly when you're at, or you're kind of getting close to the deadline, look at the rank rewards for the different arenas, for the feature arenas that you're looking at, 4-star feature arenas. And if it's 1 to 50 for the 4-star feature rank reward, then you're in the beginner's bracket. If it's 1 to 200, then you're in the intermediate bracket. And then when it's like 2 to 800, then you're in the veterans bracket. But anyway, that's kind of a good guideline to keep in mind as you're trying to figure out which one you belong in. But anyway, these are my thoughts for the new Warlock and Sabretooth arenas, round 1, of course. Would love to hear your opinion, especially if it's different than mine. Throw it on down in the comment section and we can discuss it there. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comment section and I'll try to get to them if possible. And other than that, if you found this information helpful, would really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button, as that helps out the channel. And if you like this type of video and other videos that I have, would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.